I'm Mr. Whiffen, thanks for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate you taking the time, and obviously sports has been a big impact in you throughout your entire life. Do you mind just talking a little bit about how you got into sports as a kid and how it's played a role and a platform for what has been and continues to be such an unbelievable career?
Well, sports for sure was my overriding number one passion above everything else. And I know my mother used to sort of worry that I didn't pay enough attention to academics, but being involved in sport was something that I loved. I love competing. I love getting to know all the people that you met through sports, the relationships that you had with people that still endure, even well into your adult life. So it was an overriding passion. And I had the good fortune to get a good education, going to McMaster and then Queens for law. And I've had an opportunity in my professional life to combine my passion for sports and entertainment with what I have actual practical training in. So it's been a great ride. It's been a blast, and every day is an adventure, and I never know what I'm going to do.
So you found the Ice Dogs. Now you're the governor for the London Knights, and you've also been the chairman for 2 now Memorial Cup organizing committees. Just talk about how that played such an important role in your career and how it stood out to you.
I'm old enough to remember when the Memorial Cup was only broadcast on radio, believe it or not. I'm not 100 years old, but I'm getting close. And I followed the Memorial Cup from the time I was a small kid. I loved junior hockey. I used to go to the Hamilton Red Wing games at the old Hamilton Forum, downtown Hamilton. And the chance to be involved in bidding on and maybe running a Memorial Cup back in 04-05 when we were putting together our bid was a great experience in and of itself. And I went into it thinking, in the perfect world, we get granted the rights to host the Memorial Cup and we win it right on home ice. How great would that be? Worst case scenario, I put together a bid and it's a failed bid, but it's still a great experience and I'll still meet all kinds of neat people along the way. So I bid on it twice, we won it twice, I ran it twice. It was very gratifying in 05, particularly to win it on home ice and be out there with Corey Perry and Dan Girardi and Mark Mathot and David Bolin and Robbie Schremp and a lot of other kids that went on to play in the National Hockey League. So that was very gratifying. And to do it a second time was a challenge because you're always comparing it to the first time, and you know that the world at large is going to compare your second one to the first one. So our goal going into it the second time in 2014 was, we did a great job in 05, let's do it even better this time. So we added a 3,600 square foot Hockey Hall of Fame exhibit that was dedicated to junior hockey. We had live entertainment in our festival tent every night. We had a thing called Legends of Hockey, where guys like Brian Kilray and Troy Crowder would come down and talk about their experience in hockey. We had one night that was Fighters for the Forces, and it was like Dave Hutchison, Ryan Vandenbush, Troy Crowder, who came down and sat with military guys and talked about the similarities between hockey players and fighters and guys who served in the armed forces and the kind of bond that they felt together. So we added a lot of things in 2014 that we hadn't done in 2005 just to take it that much better. And I think the 2014 event, notwithstanding that we didn't win it, the actual tournament, which I have no control over, I think that the event itself was as good as we could have made it.
It was a terrific tournament. Do you have any plans of maybe hosting another one in the near future? Or
I don't think there's an appetite within the Ontario Hockey League to have it come to London again. I think some people felt that we shouldn't have been granted the rights to host it only 9 years apart. But you need to keep in mind that there's a whole series of tests that get applied to those teams that are bidding. Like, first of all, you have to have a really good team. And
right.
When we bid on the Memorial Cup for 2014, we just won the OHL in 2012. We won it again in 2013. And we were returning 17 players who had championship experience, including like 5 first-round NHL draft picks. So we were going to be a good team in the 2014 Memorial Cup, which is the first criteria. We had a strong business plan. We had a track record. We had already pre-sold all the tickets. By the time we actually presented our bid to the Memorial Cup Site Selection Committee, we'd actually sold every game day package for an event more than a year out.
Wow.
So
another endeavor that you've gotten yourself into is Primetime Sports and Entertainment, the conference that this is going to be the 7th year now next week, Monday and Tuesday, that you run alongside Brian Burke. Just touch a little bit about how that came into fruition and how you continue to get such prominent and well-known members to come speak at this conference year in and year out.
Great question. Brian and I worked together actually on a conference in 2003 where he was my guest speaker, and we hit it off. And the next year we ran one together, but we ran it for a conference company. And we realized that we were doing all the work, but we really didn't have a say in a lot of the key decisions that were being made. So in typical Brian Burke fashion, he told them that we were going to run our own event, which really meant Trevor's going to run it and I'm going to show up on game day. And that's an oversimplification, but I do a lot of the rolling up the sleeves and getting it done, and I knew that going into it. But I think that we've been very fortunate to attract some top-notch speakers. Like when you look at the roster of speakers we have this year alone, like we have keynote addresses with Gary Bettman, Bill Daly, Don Fear, Messiah Jury, Brian Burke, Brendan Shanahan, perhaps Mark Bergevin even contacted us yesterday indicating that he might be able to come by. So, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like we've got 70 speakers. It's the who's who of the sports business, and it's a great learning experience, a great networking experience, and it's really, once again, exceeded my expectation in terms of the quality of the speakers we would get.
Without question, I mean, the lineup's stacked year in and year out, and as you mentioned, a great opportunity for networking for students and even adults looking to...
Even for people like me.
Exactly.
Who are running the event. I meet a lot of people there too myself.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity, and I guess touching on that point, what advice would you give to students aside from networking for people looking to get their feet involved in the sport industry?
Well, know the business,
right.
Get involved, meet people, network, keep networking, do everything you can. Like, one of the guys that's coming to our conference is a guy named Cam Hughes. He's the super fan that runs around and gets people all pumped up at games, and he actually started with the Mississauga Ice Dogs, and now like gave a speech at Wembley Stadium this past May to arena managers about how to get your fans engaged. And Cam says, I just keep showing up and people just keep hiring me. And it's simple, but there's a lot of truth to that. Keep showing up, get to the point where people are surprised when you're not at an event. That's when you know you've kind of networked successfully and people expect you to be places. So keep showing up, keep going, keep meeting people.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. Everyone at the school appreciates your time for coming out and speaking to all the students here in the sport management program, and we wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors.
I appreciate being invited to come here.